So this is the syllabus of unit number 6, the input-output organization. Today we will cover this external devices topic, as well as I have adjusted Pooja Saraf Madam lecture. So at 3 o'clock, so at 3 o'clock I will cover this I/O module, input-output module. So in I/O module, these are the different types like programmed, interrupt-driven, and direct memory access DMA. So this much part I have planned to cover today. Okay. So input output organization. So as we have discussed earlier, in computer there are multiple modules. Like there is a processor is there, set of memory modules we have discussed, primary memory, secondary memory, right? And we have seen how the processor execute the instruction, how the instruction loaded, it is executed, even the operand loaded, different operations are performed as per the instruction, and how the result is stored. So mainly up to the unit number 5, our discussion is related to the memory as and the processor, right? But as we know in the computer, there's a third key element is that is the IO modules. The third important we can say the module is that is the IO module. So each module interfaces to the system bus or central switch and controls one or more peripheral devices. So actually in unit number 1 we have seen there are multiple modules are there, like input output modules are there, we can say the memory modules are there, the processor is there. So all these different devices are connected with each other. So we have seen for the connection we use a bus. By the bus, all the devices are connected with each other. And we have to control all these devices. This is another task. So as you have posted in a chat box, there are number of peripherals are available for to give the input as well as to get the output. Right? The number of devices are available. So all these devices, it is impractical for the processor to coordinate with all the devices, right? Because there are multiple devices are there, and each these different devices having a different data transfer rate. As you know, even if you compare the different devices, if you are looking the keyboard, which is too much slower than your memory as well as the processor. Because if you are pressing one button and then you are pressing another button, third button, so it takes too much time. But the memory and the processor works very fast. Right? So at the another end, you will find there are some peripherals are there which are more faster than your memory or the processor. So it is actually impractical to use high system high speed system bus to communicate directly with the peripheral. It is the we actually you will not get the solution if you are only connecting all these devices by using high speed system bus. If it is high speed system bus and if you are connecting these multiple devices, and if you thought all the devices will work correctly, but it will not work. Why? Because each device having a different data rate. So actually what we require a one another device which control all these devices, because these different devices having different data transfer rate, right? And as we have discussed earlier, the processor cannot handle all these wide range of multiple devices. So that's why there is one another device, another module should be required to coordinate with all these different types of input output devices. The another thing is these different devices having a different data format. Again, if you see the mouse having a different data input, the keyboard having different data input, right? Again, in the output, you will see in the monitor, the output would be different, and for the printer, the output is different. So that is another challenge. Like these different devices having a different data format. So we have seen these different devices having a different data transfer rate. Some data devices are very faster than the memory and processor, and there are some devices which are slower than memory and processor. So actually, it mismatches the speed and which lead to inefficiency if not managed properly. Obviously, because each different devices having different data transfer rate, and if you could not manage all these devices, it would be inefficient. So we have to control this range of devices. So how actually we can control this range of devices? By with the help of this input output module. With the input output module, we can manage all these devices. So here is the input output device module is there. This input output module is connected with the different peripheral devices. It could be a keyboard, it could be the monitor, it could be the your mouse, right? Joystick, camera, phone, all are the input output devices. You can either you can send the data into computer, you can take the data from the computer. So there are multiple peripheral devices that you can connect with the computer. And you will find obviously these are three things required. One is address is required by with the help of by the address you can store your data at the particular location. You can access the data from the particular location. Data line is required for the data transfer, and the control lines are required to control all these devices. Right? If you want to read the data, so that time it will set. For example, if you want to read the data from the R1 register, so it will set R1 out. Right? So this kind of control signal we have to generate by the control line. Right? R1 out and then memory in. Right? If you want to store from the register to memory. So this kind of control signal is required. Data line, suppose if there is a 5 value is there, so 5 value will be transferred. But at which location? So address is given. So at location of 50. So this is the address. So what are the actually the, functions of IO module? So this IO module issue of a control and timing signals. This input output module. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We'll start the lecture within 1 minute. Huh? IO module function. So this IO module issue of a control and timing signal. So control signals require if you want to read the data, obviously you have to set the pin so that you can read the data from the respective devices. And the timing signals are also required. By the timing signal, you can easily understand even from your keyboard. If you there is a continuous signal is there, and suppose if you are pressing a button, so obviously the signal should be changed as per your data, right? So again, in between, you continuously enter the data and then you stop. Again, it is idle. Again, you enter it. So again, to manage all, a timing signal is required. So you will find the concept that is a synchronization. So in synchronization plays a very important role while sending and receiving the data. Okay, so this is the job of IO module to issue a control signal as well as the timing signal. The second function is communication with CPU. Now, who provide the data? Suppose if you are executing a program, you execute the program, then you are giving input, right? So this IO module take your input and provide to the CPU. So this IO module help to communicate with the CPU. So whatever the peripheral devices putting the data, that data will be transferred to the CPU as well. You, this IO module communicate with the peripheral, not only CPU, with the CPU, with the peripheral. The devices are ready or not to either receive a data. You know, even you are connecting pen drive, you will get the message. Now your pen drive is ready to access, right? So again, your IO module has to communicate with the peripherals. So communicate with the CPU, communicate with the input output devices or the peripherals. The another function is buffering of a data between CPU and peripherals. As we have discussed earlier, it is the CPU is faster and the peripherals is slower. Sometimes the CPU is slower, but your peripheral is faster. So to coordinate the data rate in between both the devices, we need a buffer. So IO module is used to buffer the data in between CPU and the peripheral. The another one is that is detection of errors. Even we have to detect the error. Even if your data is moving in very small distance, but it may happen, the error may occur, right? Like your signal is like this, but it may happen because of the high uh, electric voltage line, the data, the energy is added here, and instead of the zero, it become one. It may happen, right? So this kind of error detection is also done by the IO module. Even we have seen the error detection and the correction technique in our previous unit. So these are the functions of IO module. Device like issue of control and timing signal, communication with CPU, communication with peripherals, buffering of data between CPU and peripheral, and detection of errors. So external devices. Next topic is external devices. As we know, there are multiple external devices connected to an input-output module is also referred to as peripheral device or simply a peripheral. So there are different types of external devices. The one type you will find that is human readable. Human readables are like your keyboard is human readable, right? You can understand what you are typing over there. Your printer is human readable, right? Your screen monitor is human readable. So these are the devices which belongs to category that is human readable because it is very suitable for the communicating with the computer, and the human can easily read, understand. Right? So it belongs to human readable category. Second one is machine readable. Machine readable, like human cannot understand, but machine can understand. Example, in a robo, you have connected a sensor. With the help of that sensor, you can detect in between if there is any obstacle came, the robot change the direction. So you might have connected one sensor and the sensor detecting the obstacle is there and your robot is changing the direction. but you cannot understand that signal, right? But a robot can understand. So machine can understand. So that's why machine readable. So there are some external devices that the machine can understand, uh, like a different types of sensor equipment which are used for the monitoring and the control. Right? The next one is the communication. So human readable, machine readable, and third one is communication, suitable for communicating with remote devices. So there are very different types of devices. With the help of that devices, you can communicate with the remote devices. Like there are the two different any kind of device which are communicating with each other. So there these types of devices belongs to the communication. Again, we know like a modem are there, network interface card is there. So all these different types of devices belongs to a external devices because with the help of these devices your computer can connect externally and your computer can receive data from the external environment with these different types of devices. So here is the external device block diagram. All the concepts are very easy. I hope all you are getting. So in this block diagram, you will find one control logic is there. Obviously, the control logic is required because we have to check either the peripheral is ready or not ready, right? So from here, actually, he will get the status signal. Like he is now is a ready to accept the data. So ready. Then the control signal is for the read or write. So this is connected with the input output module and this control logic generate a signal either for to read a data or to write a data. And even if you are reading a data, obviously your data direction is like this. You're reading a data, and if you are writing a data, so that time, so data bits to and from IO module. Either you are reading a data or writing a data. As we have seen, buffer is required, buffer in between the processor and the peripheral because of the different data rate. Different peripherals having a different data rate, so buffer is there to hold the data in between the processor and the peripheral because of the different data rate. Another one is a transducer. By the name you can understand, transducer means actually transfer. We have to change the format, a data format. There are different peripheral devices are there. So many times we have to convert our electrical signal to the another form and again another form to the electrical signal, right? So this is the job of transducer to transfer a data into the another form. So that is a transducer. Okay. So very simple block diagram for the external devices. How the external devices connected with the IO module and how actually we can control, we can use for to read or to write. So all these things we have covered in the diagram, like it interfaces IO module in the form of control data and the signal status signal. The control signal is input, output, read, write. Status signal ready, not ready. It shows whether the device is ready for data transfer. Control logic is associated with the device to control the device operation in response to direction from the IO module. And transducer converts the data from electrical to the other form of energy. And the buffer is there. So buffer you will find 8 or to 16 bit. Generally, you will find a buffer which is common 8 bit or 16 bit. Okay, so IO module function. So this function already we have discussed earlier, like control and timing, speed for, which is required for speed matching, CPU communication, peripheral to processor communication, device communication, processor to peripheral communication, data buffering, temporary data storage, error detection. Again, in input-output devices, the error may occur not only in data as well as in the devices like a paper jam, bad disk track, paper not in the printer. Even these are the different input-output devices error. So all this kind of error could be detected. So how actually this input-output works and IO module works. So this CPU first checks input-output module device status. Once you connected your device, CPU check now it is ready or not, right? And then CPU check. For example, you have connected printer. The CPU check the printer is ready or not, and the printer issues or IO module return a status. So printer returns status to the CPU. Now the printer is ready. Okay, if it is ready. So if ready, CPU request for the data transfer. Okay, so after if it is ready, then CPU wait for the data transfer, and the IO module get the data from the device. So CPU is waiting for the data transfer, and input output module enter the data. Right? So this who get the data? IO module. As we have discussed earlier, the CPU does not directly communicate with the input output peripherals. CPU connected with the IO module, and IO module transfer data to the CPU. Right? So IO module gets the data from the devices, and then IO module transfer data to the CPU. Right? It is not the peripherals are not directly connected with the CPU, but IO module is connected with the CPU. So CPU, IO module, right, and then the peripherals. And there is again you will find there is a variation in the output. So all these are the input output steps. How actually your data transfer from the devices to the memory. So IO module diagram. So in IO module diagram, you will find this IO module receive a data, control signal is required, address bus is required. So it is connected with the external devices. So the control line is there, address line is there, and data line is there. So data line is there, so obviously it is connected with the data register. Or with the data, you make it the flag. Flag is used for to the status, or it it could be used for the to generate a control signal. So data line is for either for the status or the control register, or it could be the data. It is connected with the IO logic. So IO logic is for the control line. Either this data is for to read data or to write the data. If it is write the data, IO logic put the data on into the data register and the control register. If it is read the data, obviously the data will read from the data register as well as status control register. So it is bidirectional arrow. It shows either you are reading a data or writing a data. So how actually it come to know it is either for read or write by the control line. So the control line issues a signal for to read or to write, and where to from where you have to read and at what location you have to write. You will get this information by the address line. This IO logic is connected with the external device interface logic. And by this way, actually, uh, it is connected with the external devices for the data transfer. Okay. So in this way, IO module work. But actually, how the data transferred through the IO module? So as we know, there is the Bus is there, so different interface required. If the two devices are communicating, so that time there are different types of interfaces are required, like a parallel interface or serial interface. And we can transfer data by with the help of analog signal and digital signal. But actually here we are using a digital signal for the data transmission. So parallel data transfer and serial data transfer. Parallel data transfer means, for example, this is a one device and this is another device. Okay. So in parallel data transfer means if the 8-bit data you are transferring, so for each bit there is a separate connection is there, and by this way 8 bit you can transfer at a time. Okay? This is a parallel data transfer. At a time, all 8 bits are transmitting. You might have seen in old computers, you will find this kind of belt, right, which is used to connect different devices, right? A broad belt you will find, which is connected with the memory, which is as well as the processor. So, what is the advantage here? At a time, 8 bits are transmitted because 8 separate connection is there. And by looking, you can easily understand it is a parallel data transmission. Serial data transmission means, for example, this is one peripheral, this is another peripheral, and in serial data transmission, one after another, bits are transmitted in between one device to another device. This is serial data transmission. Okay, so either we can send the data by using parallel or the serial, each having its own advantages and disadvantages. Like a parallel is a faster and serial is a slower. So in parallel line, here we have taken an example of 8-bit. Similarly, you will find there is a 16-bit line, 32-bit line. But in serial data transmission, there is 1 bit transmitted at a time. Okay. But here there is a 8-bit transmit. You can transmit 16-bit. You can transmit 32-bit at a time in parallel data transmission. In serial transmission, 1 bit. So in parallel, data transfer is comparatively faster than the serial data transfer. Here in parallel, due to so many parallel paths, crosstalk among different bits is possible. Crosstalk means, for example, here is 1 and here is 0. But it may happen the energy could transmit from one line to the another line. And the 0, there is small energy is inserted here and it became 1. Okay? So because there are multiple lines are very close to each other, it may happen the crosstalk may happen in between two lines. And this energy could be added here and this 0 may become 1. So this is another disadvantage in parallel data transmission. But in serial, we are sending 1 bit at a time. Okay, so there is no crosstalk possibility. But again, here you will find there is 8 different cables for one bit. So you cannot use this technique for distant communication, right? If there is large distances there in between two peripherals, you cannot use this technique. 8 different wires required. But this real transmission you can use if there is a large distance in between two devices. In parallel, more parallel hardware is required. In parallel here, more parallel hardware is required. And here in serial, less parallel hardware is required. Here you will find comparatively cost is higher cost is lower, right? It is cheaper, right? Similarly, it may happen many times one peripheral, one device is using parallel data transmission, and here you have to transfer your data into serial. So that time a converter is required. With the help of converter, we can convert parallel data to the serial and serial to again parallel. So parallel serial converters are there. The second thing you should know while discussing this IO module, that is types of communication systems. So there is two types of communication system. One is simplex and the second one is duplex. So by the name actually you can easily understand the difference in between simplex and duplex. Simplex means by only one direction, right? Only one direction you can communicate. And duplex, in duplex you will find there is a half duplex and full duplex. Half duplex and full duplex. So in half duplex means you can communicate in both the direction. It means at this side as well as this side, but not at the same time. In simple, you can communicate at one direction only. In half duplex, you can communicate both the direction, but not at the same time. And full duplex means you can communicate both the direction at the same time. So can you give me example for simplex, half duplex, and full duplex? Any idea? Practically, all you are using all these kind of devices in which simplex means you are communicating at only one direction. You might have experienced the second device that is half duplex. You can communicate in both the direction, but not at the same time. And full duplex, you can communicate in both the direction at the same time. So in chat box,